Welcome everyone to today's webinar. We're going to be going over our updated mobile app, and we're going to be specifically focusing today on using the mobile app as a member. Don't forget to tune in next week. We're going to do another webinar a week from today, right at this same time. And we're going to be going over more of the detailed configuration. So how to change menus, how to change icons, how to customize your web pages to make sure they show up correctly on mobile. We'll be doing a lot more of the administrative configuration in detail next week, a week from today. Today, we're going to be going over kind of what the available functions are and taking a little bit more time going into depth on like how to use the chat functions and things like that. But before we get too far into that, let's go ahead and do a little bit of housekeeping. So all of your microphones are currently muted. If you have any questions during the webinar, we have Samantha in the chat. She's with us from the ClubExpress training team. If you put your questions into the Zoom chat, she will answer them throughout the webinar. And then at the end, we will take some of the questions that are some of the best questions, and we'll be reviewing them during a Q&A towards the end of this session. We are also recording today's webinar, and it will show up on our YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for that if you wanted to go back and rewatch anything that we go over today. Make sure when you're signing up for these webinars or you're wanting to attend, if you have questions, you can always go to clubexpress.com/calendar, and you'll see all of our upcoming webinar schedules, and you can see what topics are on the docket to take care of. And if you register ahead of time, there's actually a place for you to put in questions. So if there's something specific you'd like to see demonstrated during a webinar, if you register ahead of time, you can actually influence kind of what we're going to go over and what we'll cover and what we'll show off during our webinars. That way we can prepare and make sure we cover things that you have questions about. We're going to have this video up on our YouTube channel as well. So if you go to youtube.com and you search for clubexpress.com, and that's with the dot spelled out, so that's clubexpress.com, you'll find our YouTube channel. And once we have this video uploaded, you'll see it in our list of videos. And while you're there, you can also subscribe to our channel. That's not just to bump up our subscriber count. That's also so you'll get notifications whenever our new videos get posted. So things like our version announcements like we had last week, you'll be up to date on all of the upcoming and new features that are happening with ClubExpress. Lastly, before we move on to the webinar, we love to hear from our customers. So if you have any comments or opinions about how ClubExpress is doing, if you go to clubexpress.com/reviews, you can leave us a review and let us know what you think of the product. And that really helps people who are considering going with ClubExpress decide if ClubExpress is the right tool for them. And it also just helps us learn, what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into today's webinar. Like I mentioned, we're going to be going over the mobile app version 2. So this is the version of the mobile app that was just recently released. We're going to be kind of going over the user functions. So we're going to be looking at how to navigate the app. So there's kind of 3 different menus that you can kind of use when you're using the mobile app. We're also going to go over kind of probably what we'll spend the most time on today are the various different chat functions. So these are things that are kind of specific, or at least, kind of really super intrinsically tied into the mobile app. So we'll be looking at direct messaging between members. We'll be looking at how to send a member a message, how to request to send messages, how to report and block users if there's someone you don't want to talk to. We'll also be looking at how to do group chats. So if you wanted to chat with multiple users, and we'll also look at mobile channels, which is how you can chat with other people of similar interests. It's kind of similar to our forum board, except for it's a little bit more free form. It's kind of like if any of you have used like Facebook Messenger chat or things like that, it'll be a little bit familiar to you. We'll also take a look at the new mobile profile interface. So our previous version of the mobile app had a very simplified version of the profile interface. We have updated the mobile app to have a more kind of full-featured profile, so a lot more similar to the desktop profile. We'll take a look at what options you have there, and then we'll take a brief look at the other modules and other tools that come with the mobile app features. Most of those are unchanged, so they are still the similar features from the previous mobile app, so we won't spend too much time on that because we are zeroing in on the updated features in the mobile app version 2. I mentioned once already, but last week we announced the mobile app. So if you want to go look at the other features that Club Express announced, the recording for our version 67 announcement is already up on our YouTube channel. So you can go check that out there. And I mentioned this once already, but I'll keep mentioning this again. Next week, we will be doing mobile app configuration for admins. So tune in again a week from today, and we will be going over all of the different setup functionalities for the Club Express mobile app. So things like changing your menus. I'll be touching on them briefly today, but we'll be going much more in depth on those things next week. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with kind of the navigation portion of the app, and I'm going to screen share from my phone here just in a second. So you'll see your Zoom share kind of shrink down to phone size in just a second here. But the first things we're going to go over is the lower menu. So there's kind of three main versions of navigation that you're going to interact with on the mobile app, and that's going to be the lower menu, the side menu, and the Your Info menu. So first, let's take a look at what the lower menu looks like. You're going to have your common features. These are going to be the most used buttons that you're going to run into on the mobile app. It's going to be things like your home button to just get right back to your home page. There's going to be a channel button, and that will let you switch between different mobile app channels, and we'll talk about what a channel can do for you. There's a notifications button, which will show you all sorts of different information that pertains to you. So notifications for things like incoming messages and notifications for upcoming events, and also notifications that that your club has pushed to all of your members that have the mobile app. Another thing we're going to look at is the messages button. So we'll click on messages, and that's going to give us the option to send direct messages to one or more people. And that is our direct messaging button. That is going to be different from our chat button. We'll talk about how those are different in a few minutes. And then we're going to take a look at the Your Info menu, where you can do things like download your membership card, update your profile. That menu, that Your Info menu, is inside of that lower menu, but it will actually open a secondary menu where you will see all of these options. And there's actually a lot more than I listed here, but most of them are fairly self-explanatory. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break from talking. I'm going to switch over to my phone, and I'll demonstrate some of these things really quickly. So give me just a moment to swap screens to my phone. There we go. So you should be seeing the mobile app on my phone. And right now we are just on the homepage of our Demo Club mobile app. The first thing you'll probably notice is that the homepage on my mobile app is not amazingly customized for mobile. That's actually something we're going to take a look at next week, is how to make sure that the version of your homepage that you are seeing is more optimized for mobile versus what we're dealing with right now. So if you want to see how to kind of, gussy that up a little bit, check in with us next week, and we'll be going over how to make sure that people who are using the app are seeing the right version of the homepage. Right now, we're just going to use the lower menu. So the first button we're going to see is the home button, and that's in that very lower left-hand corner. That home button is always going to be there. This lower menu will be on the bottom of your screen no matter where you go. So no matter what buttons you press while you're navigating the website, this lower menu will always be there. The home button will always take you back to the home page. So if I just click that, it's just going to reload my home page again. The second button we're going to see is the channels button. So the channels button is going to give us an interesting little option. When we click on it, it's going to fly out our left-hand side, and it's going to give us our channels. So we only have a few options here. Channels are similar to the interests module. When you are using the interests module, you'll notice things like, you can say, I'm interested in knitting or bike rides or something like that. It just allows for distinct interests. You can use channels in the same way, and channels just lets members categorize themselves. The default channel is this all members channel, and you'll notice when I click on that channel at the very top of my screen, it says all members now. That lets you know what channel you're in. So again, by default, you'll see this little green mark that lets me know that's the channel that I have selected. All members is kind of your standard channel. You don't have to use channels, but this just lets you categorize things, and channels have a large number of uses. You can use it for chatting, you can use it for listing events, But this is one of those options where you can just say, if I have for example, fly-ins is a channel we like to use for testing. Fly-ins is a channel we can use, and that's just a group of people that like to get together to fly their balloons. So this is, the Northwest Balloon Club. And if I click on that channel, you'll see at the very top of my app here, it now says fly-ins. And so anything I interact with in the app from now on, if it has the ability to be a channel functionality, it's going to show up for that option. So when we go into the chat option later, because I have selected fly-ins, it is going to give us the ability to see fly-in specific media. We're going to be talking again more about configuring channels, and that's something that's done on the admin side next week. And I'll take a quick peek at it a little bit later. But for now, all you really need to know for channels is that it's just a way for people to say, I want to see, chat or events for this specific group that I belong to. And the default is always just all members. And that's going to show you kind of the basic default information for your club. You'll see another channel that we have an option for at the bottom of this list is something like board of directors, where you can create channels that are specific to groups. And we have ways of limiting it so that not everyone has access to the board of directors. We can limit a channel to be only available to people who are on the board of directors. So for now, I'm going to leave this as all members and continue on with our lower hand navigation before I circle back to a few other functions. So continuing on this little bottom hand navigation bar, we also have notifications. When you click on this notifications icon, it's going to show you a mix of different notifications. And this is going to be our notification history. So those of you who have iPhones or Android phones, a lot of phones these days have that like swipe down from the top option. And you can see a look at all of the different bits of notifications that are coming from your phone. So things like, Amazon deliveries or texts and emails that you've received. This is going to work very similarly. This is just going to be everything that's been going on in the club that pertains to you that you would receive a notification for. So upcoming events, messages you've received, and you can click on these to go engage with that piece of the media. So for example, Sue Xavier here has sent me a request to message. And if I tap on that, I can delete this notification or click on these little three dots to then engage with that and say, I want to receive this chat or, do something else with that notification. And similarly, I can click on notifications again to get back to this screen. And now I can actually say, I want to go look at this Northwest Balloon Club, did we mention pizza? So this is an upcoming event that I'm being notified about, and I can tap on this notification to go look at that event. So this is just going to be a quick view of information that has been sent to you or is pertaining to you that you might need to be notified about. And you can just tap on these to look around. You can also tap on them and click the little trash can to say, I don't care about that event. I don't need that in my notifications. And you can delete that notification and it won't show up for you. So if we go back to our home screen, the next icon on the lower right-hand side is our messages. I'm not going to go too deep into this because I'm going to circle back around to messages in detail in just a second, but I will click on it really quickly just to show you how to get to your messages screen. When you click on messages, you're going to see your message inbox, and this is going to show you all of the conversations that you are currently in. So we see there's that same notification that I saw. Sue Xavier is wanting to have a conversation with me, and she sent me a message request. I can see that I'm already talking to people like a different Sue. We have Sue set up here multiple times because this is one of our demo websites. So we have a few people that have been duplicated here. But you will see all of your requests and different things that have been sent to you on this page. Also on the bottom of this page is going to be all of your ways to filter this content. So you can say, I want to only see message requests, or I want to see those that I have blocked or unblocked. I can see conversations that I've deleted, and I can see messages that I've reported. We'll go into detail on what those different buttons do and how to use them in just a second. So we'll be circling back to that. But for now, I'm going to finish up this lower hand navigation tool. So I'm going to go back to my homepage just for a little bit of a reset. The last option on this lower menu that you're always going to have available to you is your info. And this is going to give you a look at all of the kind of options that pertain strictly to you. So things like editing your profile. When we click on your info, this is the menu you're going to get on the left-hand side. It'll give you your little kind of synopsis on the upper left. So you'll see there's Martin Smith and the email that is listed for Martin Smith. You'll have an option to download your membership card. right at the top, that is only for organizations that have the virtual membership card. So if you don't see that download membership card, that just means your organization may not have membership cards. What you will definitely see is this edit profile settings button. And this is one place that we've made some pretty significant changes. So the former app had a pretty pared down version of the profile. We have actually updated this to be a lot more similar to the profile that you would see on a desktop or on the mobile site. So when we click on edit profile settings, you'll see this has a lot more features, a lot more buttons, and you actually have complete control of things like updating your username and password. You can look at things like your channels and your interests and your photo albums. You have pretty much the control of your entire membership profile, just like you would if you were using it on the desktop app. So now there's a lot more ability for you to use the app instead of using the website if you'd prefer to just interact with your club with the app instead of, going back and forth between the app and the desktop. Another option you'll see is if you have payments due. So if you owe your organization maybe membership dues, or you've ordered something, or you've attended an event and you haven't paid for it yet, if you have a payment due, you can click on the payment due button and it will open into the payment screen where you can even submit payments for things that you've done. So here I've donated to the annual campaign fund, and I can, go ahead and submit a payment of $50, by credit card or PayPal, however you want to submit that payment, just like you would on the mobile website. You can make payments on the mobile app as well. So if we go back to your info function, the rest of these, I'm not going to go too in depth. The tell a friend option, this just lets you send a friend, hey, I think you might be interested in this club. You've got things like the term of use and the privacy policy and privacy settings. Those are all exactly the same to the way it works on the desktop website. So this is just kind of privacy information that you can control. And sign-offs. It is important to know if you have multiple profiles. So maybe if you're an admin and you have an admin profile and a normal member profile, this is where you would go to click login as a different user. And that would let you switch back and forth between different profiles. So that'll take you back to the login screen. So would the logout option. If you click on logout, it'll log you out, but it won't take you back to the login screen. It'll take you back to the app loading screen. And then these last three buttons here about this app and what's with this, what's new in this version. About this app will just give you the app version details. What's new in this version will give you a list of the most recent changes that have been made to the app. So if you ever notice differences in the app, or if you see that the app has been updated and you want to see what's been changed, you can always click on what's new in this version, and you'll get a change log of all of the things that we've changed. So there's a list of pretty much what we're going over today of what we've changed in the newest version of the app. And then at the very bottom is the help option. If you tap on help, it's actually going to take you out of the app and open up your phone's web browser and take you to help.clubexpress.com, which is our help system where you can search for all sorts of different tools. So those of you who have ever clicked on the question mark in the upper right-hand side of a page, you probably have seen the help.clubexpress.com website before. So that help option, if you're having trouble with the app, or something's not loading, or you're stuck for some reason, the reason it takes you out of the app to get to the help page is because, obviously you might be having problems with the app. So help takes you to your web browser so that you're not stuck using the app to get help. You can also always call ClubExpress or send our support team an email if you're having trouble. But this help option just lets you quickly jump into the help tool to search for whatever problem you're having or for help with what you're doing. So that's that bottom kind of navigation bar. One other piece of navigation that you're able to use is, and you'll see probably some of you have already spied it, or those of you who already have the app have already been playing with it, but there's another menu option for navigating on your mobile app, which is this little 3 line. Some people call these the hamburger. It's this little 3 bars on the upper left-hand corner, and this will open up your app menu. And this is going to be a lot more specific to your club. So this bottom bar at the very bottom down here with the home, channels, notifications, and so on, that's for all users of the app, regardless of what club you're with. These 3 bars on the left-hand side, this is going to be specific to your club. So we'll see 2 different types of menus here. The first menu here is going to be your functions. So your functions, these are going to be menu options that you are able to customize. So these are customizable by your administrators, where you can change both what shows up on this your functions menu And also you can actually control what the icons are. So if you wanted to change a different icon for something, you have control over the icons in your control panel as well. I'll take a brief look at that in just a little bit. But again, we're going to be going over how to configure all of these things from the admin standpoint next week at the same time. The lower menu down here is going to be your website menu. And this will show you the same menu that you would see if you were logged into the desktop website. And some of you might say, well, then why do we have two different menus? The reason is that there are functions that are specific to the app. So things like the chat function here in the middle, this is going to give us the chat for our club. It looks like my Wi-Fi is not working for some reason. We'll have to take a look at that. But the chat function will take us to the channel chat, and that is something that is specific to the mobile app, as is Meets option here. So when we click on Meets, this is a module we'll be going over a little bit later in this webinar. The Your Functions menu is going to be specific for things that you want people who are using the mobile app to have access to. And then the website menu, again, is going to be the same menu you would get on the desktop site. So we have, in my opinion, we have a little bit too much on the Your Functions menu. I would honestly probably just put Meets and chat and maybe mobile polls, and that's it. The rest of that, I would let the website menu manage as normal. And we'll be going more detail on that. But again, this is just the Your Functions for mobile specific menu options, and the website menu is your bog standard menu. I will point out for the website menu, one thing that I have noticed, and just something to keep in mind when you're creating your organization's menus, anytime you have a mega menu or a sub menu, and we have full webinars on submenus and mega menus. So when you're editing your website menu, if you put a large number of items on your submenus or on your mega menus, it's going to extend vertically. So when I tap on members here, it actually makes my menu much longer because I have so many items on that submenu. So that's something you want to be aware of. You may want to be aware to kind of use submenus actually a little bit more liberally. You'd want to have maybe 3 or 4 submenus, each of them with 3 or 4 different items in them. That way you don't have one submenu with, right here we have about 15 items on it, because that extends our menu to be very, very tall. And the same with this club menu. That's one of our mega menus. And you'll see here, it's got the committees menu. Oops, sorry. It's got the committee menu and the hot off the press menu within that mega menu. And you'll see whenever I tap that open, it extends vertically. It doesn't just drop down or pop out a menu. It actually shoves the rest of the menu items down. So you want to be aware that you don't want, very, very tall submenus when you're creating your website menus. So that is that kind of triple line menu at the top left. It's pretty easily configurable. This is just something, and again, I said we'll take a look at this once I switch off of my phone share, because we can't edit these menus from the phone. They do have to be edited from the desktop website. A lot of the admin functions are not available on the mobile app. The mobile app is just for user functions. So we'll be taking a look at the desktop site here in a few minutes to see how we can modify these on the app. So now let's circle back around to something that I promised, which is the direct messaging functions. So let's take a bit of a deeper dive into that. So I'm going to go to the bottom menu down here, and I'm going to tap on messages. So when we land on messages, we have a few things that we can do. Just from the top down, the first thing we can do is create a message. When you create a message, you have a few options. You have people that have already begun chatting with you. So we've got B. Jones and Colleen Carter and Jenny Cho. These are all people that we have already begun chatting with. And I can just select one of these people and hit save. And now I am chatting with Jenny Cho. You'll see Jenny Cho's name up there in the box. And I can tap on here and send a message. I'll say, hello, Jenny, and send. And that's all it takes. I've sent a message to Jenny, and she will get a notification on her phone if she has the mobile app installed. A note about that is once you install a mobile app, those of you who have smartphones, which is probably most of you, will know when you install an app, it asks, hey, can I send you notifications? If you say no to that, then you won't get push notifications, or you won't get the notifications on your phone for those messages. So if for some reason Jenny has said, I don't want to get notifications from my ClubExpress app, then she would not be getting this hello Jenny message as a notification on her phone. But otherwise, if she has those notifications turned on, she should get a little message saying, hey, Martin sent you a message. So if we go back and we say, I want to create a new message, so let's go back up here and create message again. We have the option to send messages to other people. So obviously, these aren't all the members on the website. These are just people that I've already started talking to. And so they're listed in my contacts. Up above our contacts, we do have send a message request, and you'll see select member. And those of you who have been administrators with ClubExpress for a while will recognize the select member option. This is just a way for you to search for anyone you want. And if we just hit search, we can search by last name, or we can just look at the list of people here. And there's all of the members we're able to talk to. And we can say, I want to talk to Ben, and say select. Now we are sending a message request to Ben because we have not talked to Ben before. So in order to talk to someone, we have to send them a notification saying, hey, I want to talk with you. We can't just start sending messages to people. And the reason for that is we want to avoid, especially opening people up to maybe, being inundated with chats or maybe abusive chats or things like that. We want to make sure that all of the conversations that are happening on the app are, willing participants. So once we send Ben a message, that will actually, instead of, you'll see we're still talking to Jenny Cho here. It's not going to open up a message. If we go back to our message page, you'll see Ben Richards there. It says waiting, you sent this member a message request on 4/12/2023. And so I have sent Ben a request to talk. And once Ben accepts that, then it will let me know, hey, you can start talking to Ben. So we'll actually see what that looks like on Ben's side here. So we can see Sue Xavier up at the top right here. Sue Xavier sent me a request to talk. And so this is what Ben would see, would be this little check mark to say, sure, I'll talk. The little hand icon, which is the ignore option, meaning I don't want to talk to Sue or Ben in this case, if Ben was the one replying to me. If they choose that middle hand option, it won't notify the person that they've been ignored. That just means I don't want to see this request anymore, but it doesn't let the person that requested know. So the person that requested would essentially just be kind of left out of the loop. Maybe they think, oh, they didn't see it, or, oh, they don't want to talk to me. The other option is the block option right here, which is this little circle with a line through it. That will block them from talking to you at all. And that person then would be notified. They would just see, message request denied. So you've kind of got an accept. You've got a little hand to say, no, I don't want to talk to them, but I don't want them to know I don't want to talk to them. Or you've got the circle with the line through it saying, I'm okay with them knowing that I don't want to talk to them. For now, I can just hit, a little check mark and say, sure, I'll talk to Sue. And then it'll take me into the conversation. This is our demo site, so things may look a little bit funny just because we've started and stopped the conversation with Sue a few times. So if we go back, we'll land on this page. Now that we have a few people that we're talking to, there's actually an extra way that we can create messages. So if we hit create message one more time, you'll notice that we can check off multiple people that we want to talk to, and we can create group chats as well. So in order to create a group chat, they have to be people that have already accepted the chat from you. You can't start a group chat with a group of people who have not already agreed to talk with you. But if they are a group of people that have accepted your message request, you can pull them into a group chat. So if you have your little group of friends within your club, you can say, I want to talk to these 3 people, B. Jones, Colleen Carter, and Jenny Cho, and I'll hit save. And now we can see it drops us back into this message. You'll see B. Jones and 2 more. I can click this little 3-dot icon to see who I'm talking to, B. Jones, Colleen, and Jenny. And I can say, hey guys. And now all 3 of them are going to get a message. So there's 4 of us in the chat, me as Martin Smith, and then the 3 people that I've sent a message to. And now I have a little chat group with the 3 people that I'm interested in talking to. I can even use the icons in the upper right-hand corner to add people to this group. And so I can say, I want to change the name of this group chat. I want to add different people to this group chat, and I can save once I add members to the group chat. Or once we're done, maybe this is an event, group that we're having conversations about setting up an event. And once the event's over, we're done with this group chat. You can then also delete it and say, I'm done with this conversation. I want to, remove that group chat. So while we're talking about sending messages, There's an interesting thing you can do with messages as well, which is you can share images and GIFs and videos from your phone as well. So you'll see when I tap here, there's the little send icon in the right-hand corner. To the left of the send icon is a photo icon, and that will let you send pictures from your phone. Most of the pictures on my phone are cat pictures, so I will just leave that alone for now. But if you wanted to say send a picture of your dog or your pets or your kids, or if you're a part of a woodworking group and you want to send a picture of a bowl that you're working on or something, a new classic car, any of these enthusiast groups that you're working with, you can share photos directly from your phone into that chat. That's a fairly new feature for ClubExpress, is the ability to share directly from your phone, and it'll get sent straight to the people that you're chatting with. An important note about sending pictures and chats and things is that all of this is completely private. So anything you send using the messages option, so if I send a message to this group right here, no one else other than the people in this chat will be able to see that information. So this isn't made public. Even administrators can't access other people's direct messages. So that's an important note to be aware of as you're sending things like pictures. If you want it to be, a private conversation, maybe it's between the board of directors, and you want to make sure that, maybe other administrators or other members, don't have access to your private messages. It is fully encrypted and secure, so you don't need to worry about your admins having access to what you're sending. So you can, just like with Facebook Messenger, no one else has access to those discussions. So let's talk about what to do if we're done with a discussion, if we want to delete it or block someone or report a message. So, it's not a fun thing to talk about, but if you're ever having a conversation and there's something happening that, you don't like and you don't want to talk to that person anymore, we can go back to our messages page. Let's go find someone who has sent me a message. We have Jenny Cho down here. When we are in a conversation with someone, if someone has said something that you don't want to see in that chat anymore, you can tap on it. And you can do things like react to it. You can put a little heart on it. You can use these little emojis to react to it, but you can also do things like delete the message or report and hide. So if we delete a message, that will just remove it from sight, and the person that sent the message will not see that anything happened. So, how was the event last night? I don't want to see that. Okay. And now that message is gone. But if I say I want to report a message, there's kind of an important note about reporting messages. If you report a message, you can give a reason for reporting the message and say, I didn't like what you said, or that was very rude. You can report it and save. It will still remove that message, but it will also let the person know, the person who sent you that message, that you have reported it. Administrators, even if it's reported, still won't have access. Private messages will remain private, and there's not a way for you to allow admins to see that unless you just go show an admin, your phone. So keep that in mind when you report those messages. It does let the person who you're talking with know that your message has been reported, and it also removes that message. So again, you just tap on the message and it opens up this little menu down here where you have all of these little emoji responses, and you also have the option to delete a message or report and hide a message. Once a message is reported, it will show up in a list of reported messages. So let's go back to our message screen. And this is where we'll start to talk about this little bottom menu down here at the bottom of messages. You have three options. You have message requests, block and unblock, deleted conversations, and reported messages. So let's go backwards down this list. So we'll start with reported messages because that's what we're talking about. And there's two things you'll see on this screen. You'll see messages that you sent that other people reported. So I, as Martin Smith, have sent a bunch of messages, but none of them have been reported. That's great. I've been a nice person. No one has been upset by anything that I've sent. And then at the bottom, there's also messages that you have reported. And this will let me see all of the messages that I reported for one reason or another. If I ever accidentally report a message, you do have the option to restore it. So if we restore that message, it has been restored, and now that message is back in our chat. It goes off of the reported message list. I can see it once again, and it will also drop out of the messages that you sent that other people have been reported. So Jenny Cho, if Jenny is looking at the list of messages that she has sent that have been reported, it would now show, just like I see it here, there are no reported messages. So there's no way for them to see that it has been reported. So if you report something on accident, you can go back and restore it, and no harm done. The other options at the bottom of this message page, deleted conversations. If we decide to delete an entire conversations, it will show up here. And so we deleted, this conversation with Sue, and you can see that the entire conversation has been deleted, and you can choose to undelete it, and it will undelete that conversation. So if I choose to go to Sue Xavier and say, I'm going to delete it once again, that's how I delete that whole conversation, just clicking on that trash can. I go back to my messages, delete a conversation. There it is again. So I can delete and undelete conversations if I want to. If I'm done with a conversation, I can clean up my inbox by deleting old conversations, or I can just leave it alone. It's entirely up to you. The other option you have down here is the block and unblock option. And this is where if someone is being rude to you or something like that, and you need to block a conversation so that they can't message you anymore, this is where we can go in and block people. If we block someone, they will show up on this list. We will also see a list of everyone in our contact list. So these are contacts who are not blocked. And so let's say, Jenny's been a little bit rude to me. I'm going to block Jenny Cho. Once I block her, she will no longer be able to send me messages, and I will not get any notifications from Jenny Cho. And Jenny, you'll see there was blocked. It'll tell me the date that I blocked Jenny. And if we work things out and, it was a misunderstanding, I can choose to unblock her just by clicking on the little check mark as well. So that's where you can go and manage people if you want to, remove or add the ability for someone to converse with you. And then the last thing is message requests. This will just show you all of the message requests that both you have sent and that have been sent to you. So this is, sent message requests. You'll see Sue, I sent, it'll say, Sue accepted your request so I can chat with Sue. If we look down here at Colleen Carter, I sent a request, but Colleen has not responded. That means she either hasn't responded to my request yet, or Colleen chose that ignore the little hand option saying, I have no intent to talk with you. If you click this little circle with an arrow rotating backwards option, that will rescind that option. So if you request a chat from someone and you don't get a response for a while, you can say, maybe they don't want to talk to me. They can reach out on their own. And I can click that little circle option, and that will rescind my request to chat. So they will no longer be see that option where it says that I want to talk to them. So that's our direct messaging option. Again, this is where we can create messages. We can choose people that have already agreed to talk to us. At the bottom down here, you'll see these are our already existing group chats. And we can create messages by adding a message in here. We can also go and select a member if we want to send a message directly to one specific member that is not already in our contacts that we can chat with. Our existing conversations will show up here under messages and requests. And we can just go and hop back into a conversation where we can, start conversing with, B. Jones in here. We can send messages and images. So let's go back and let's talk about one more type of chat. So this is the direct messaging tool. This is where we are interacting with one specific person or maybe a group of a few specific people. If we want to chat with more of an interest group type, we can choose the option up in the top left over here to chat. So when we tap chat under your functions, it's going to open up the group chat for whatever channel we are currently in. So right now I'm in the all members channel. So if I click chat right now, it might not work again. Yeah, I'm having trouble with my internet. So we'll have to take a look at that. Let me try one of my different channels real quick, see if I can get into a channel chat. Well, that's not working super well. Well, we'll have to come back to that, and maybe we'll take a closer look at channel chats in next week's webinar. There might be an issue. We just released this mobile app, so we're bound to run into an issue or two. But we will take a closer look at that. Effectively, how the channel chat works, it's very similar to the direct messaging tool. You can still send pictures, you can send links, you can send images. The biggest difference is that instead of selecting individual people that you want to talk to, it is a predefined list of people that have chosen to be a part of a channel. If you want to join or remove yourself from a channel, that is going to be something that you will do in your info. Your channel selections are going to show up in your profile settings. So if we click on your info and go to edit profile settings, if we look down here under mobile app, you'll see click here to view or change your mobile channel settings. And this is all of the channels that are available to me. You'll see there's my all members, there's my fly-ins. These are all of the channels that I'm currently a member of. And down here, you'll see available channels. So your administrators, and if you are already an administrator, you may or may not want to set up multiple channels that are available to you, but your channels can be defined by different criteria. So the board of directors channel right here, this is a channel for all of our board of directors. If we want to be on that, we would have to be on the board of directors. And just by being on the board of directors, it's going to automatically include us in that channel. We can choose to say, I don't want to see that channel. So we can say hidden if I want to remove myself from that channel, or I can say active if I do want to be on that channel. And we can also choose to check and uncheck chat notifications. So if there's a channel that I really like, say, the board of directors channel specifically, anytime there's a message about on the board of directors channel chat, I want to be aware of what the board of directors is talking about. I can choose to get notifications about that board of directors chat. So anytime someone sends a message to that channel, I will get notified. Another option is to add and remove yourself to optional channels. So channels can also be configured to be opt-in channels, meaning, it's available to everyone, but they have to choose whether or not they want to be a part of it. And so for this politics chat, obviously we don't want to force people into a politics chat, but if we're going to be open to that, we can tap on this little green join option. And now we're a part of that channel. And if we click on channels, we would have the option to go interact with that politics chat. And same way, we can click on this pencil and we'll get the same options here, active, hidden, and we can send notifications saying, hey, anytime someone is talking politics, I want to be updated. And then if we're done with that chat and we say, hey, I'm kind of tired of that for now, we can click that little red remove button and it will no longer make us a part of that channel and we won't be getting involved in that chat anymore. There's a few other functions for channels. There's things like events that are channel specific. So if you go into your channels and we go to the @CFlyers channel, we will see we are at the top of our screen. We are now under the @CFlyers. And if we go to our events calendar, there would be specific events for that channel. So whenever you're creating an event, those of you who have the mobile app may have seen when you're creating an event, it says, what channel would you like to associate this with? Most times you probably leave that blank, and that's totally fine. If you leave it blank, that means it's not going to be associated with any channel. But when you're creating an event, if you add a channel, that means people who are a part of that channel will be the ones who see that on the mobile app. So if we create an @CFlyers event, we would only see that on our event list if we are in the mobile channel @CFlyers. All right, so that's kind of our quick overview of channels and chat. Let's talk about one more feature that I did want to go over, which is Meets, and then we'll talk about some of our other ClubExpress modules that still work on the mobile app. So let's talk about Meets real quick. Meets is an interesting one. It's kind of, I would say, one of our more niche functions. So when we click on the 3 bars up here, we have the Meets option on your functions. Meets is really kind of specifically for groups of people that may interact with other larger groups. So this is great for our Model 2 clubs, which are clubs that are maybe regional, and each region has their own website, which means each region could have their own app. And so if there's some sort of large conference where they're all meeting up and they want to say, hey, I want to see who's around me, this will let other members of your club get notified that you are nearby. So this just lets you share your location. So you can say, I want to be seen. You click on the little eyeball up here, and this will show you a map, and this is where I am right now. And if we hide that again, we can go and say, I want to show myself, I want to show my location for 2 hours, and it'll set a little timer saying, I'm only going to show my location for this amount of time. And I want everyone within, say, 1 mile to get notified of my area. And I can also set a status message saying, come say hi. So if you're running a booth at an event and you want other members of your organization to come say hi at your booth, you can share your location. So other members of your club, when they show up to maybe an event or a conference, they'll get a little ping letting them know that, other club members are around. So if you're part of like a fishing organization, you can, share your location so that other people can come, see what you're up to and chat. Now, obviously, not everyone is always very comfortable with sharing their location. So this is, again, a very kind of niche tool that not all of our organizations want to use, but it is very useful in very specific situations. So this is just a way for you to let other club members know your location. Now, a point of order, you can only use this with the mobile app. So you have to have the app installed, and only other club members who also have the app will see that. So it's going to be very specific people who will be able to share your location. It's not going to be publicly shared in any way. It's just going to be available to other mobile app users. All righty. Let's see, what are we at? So let me swap over and quickly show you a few of the kind of configuration side of things on the website. Again, we'll be going in depth more on these when we're talking about the configuration tools next week. But let me swap my share over to my desktop real quick. All right. So now this is the same website. Instead of being on the app, we are on the control panel for our desktop website. And if we're going to look at our configurations for our mobile apps, what we would want to do is go take a look at our club options and our people options. So one question we got a lot during last week is, I don't see the messages option at the bottom of my app. The messages option is something that you do have to turn on. So when you're in your control panel, if you have the mobile app, it's not an added cost feature. It's just something you have to kind of flip the switch to turn it on to let your members use. So if you go into your control panel and go to the people tab, turning on that direct messaging function is going to be under the configure option over here. And you'll see on the list is direct messaging. And all you have to do is say active and hit save. And that will be enabled. And now a lot of you are probably used to using the control panel, and you'll say, well, I enabled it, but it's not showing up. That's because on the back end, there's not any admin controls. So clicking on that wouldn't really do anything. So it doesn't show up. It's only a public facing tool. There's no configuration on the admin side for that. And that's why it doesn't show up here. But if you do want to make sure that it is enabled and functioning properly, if you click on this switch to view mode, it will show up. So that's a quick little way to make sure that you are seeing your direct messaging, is just by clicking switch to view mode. You'll see your direct messaging, and then you can click into it and take a look at it. This is where we will take a look at direct messaging one more time. You can use direct messaging not on the app. You can use it on the desktop website. There is one kind of really important caveat, though, which is direct messaging is actually tied through the app. So only people who have the mobile app are actually able to use direct messaging. So if you don't have the mobile app installed on your phone, the direct messaging function is not going to work on the desktop. So in order to access direct messaging, you do have to download the app and log in. But once you do that, it should be available to you on the desktop website. And you can also do things like add direct messaging to your menu up here if you wanted to, or put a link on your homepage. You can treat direct messaging just like any other ClubExpress module, but you may want to put a disclaimer on your website, or just let your members know, send them an email or something saying, hey, we're adding direct messaging. If you want to use direct messaging, make sure you download our app, and that will let people start chatting. So again, you have to install the app in order for direct messaging to begin working. The other places where you would kind of modify the mobile app, if we go over to our website tab for our club, you will see a few options. We have the mobile app manager here. This will let us take care of a few settings. We'll be taking a closer look at that next week during next week's webinar when we're doing the mobile app for admins. The one thing I do want to preview for you to play with in the meantime is the menus option. So on our menus page, If you have the mobile app installed, you'll see an extra option on the menus page once you have the mobile app, which is the mobile app menu. And this is that kind of extra menu we were looking at earlier. There's our donations, our chats, our meets. We were looking at this exact menu under the Your Functions option on our phone just a minute ago. And this is where we can come in and we can make changes to these functions. We can change their icons, we can change the links. And so if you click this Edit App menu, this will let you control what is on your menu, just like creating a menu for your website. And this is where you can control what icon they are. So maybe our membership directory, we want to use something else as the icon. You have a pretty big selection of icons to work with here. We can choose these little theater faces instead. Membership directory, we can change the icons around if we want to. So that's how you edit that. All right, Sam, how are we doing? That was pretty much most of the content I had to cover. I'm sure we have tons and tons of questions.
We do. So I'll start with a couple of things to note. There were a lot of questions about some of the admin functions or some of the functions that admins would take care of within the app. So don't forget to tune in next week. We're going to cover all of the admin functions, including how to even get the app for your organization if you don't currently have it. So tune in next week. You can head over to clubexpress.com/calendar, find the webinar. And if you have specific questions that you want to make sure get covered, like Devin mentioned, go ahead and register for that webinar in advance and include your questions as part of registration. So we do have a list of the questions in the chat, and we'll of course make sure that we save that and get that integrated into our session for next week. But let's kind of talk about a couple of the things that came up. So the mobile app is different than your mobile responsive website. The app is an extra cost feature, and it includes obviously all of the functions of your website in a mobile interface, but it's a branded app, of course, branded to your organization. And it also includes all of those exclusive app only features that Devin went through today: Meets, live channel-based chat, direct messaging. So keeping that in mind, a couple of people asked, how would mobile chat compare to WhatsApp? So the live chat feature is channel-based, based on groups that you create as an admin. But the direct messaging feature is probably a closer comparison to WhatsApp, where you're able to send individual people or groups of people a direct message. And can channels be used for events, and then specific members who are only interested in that event can communicate further with each other, as opposed to blasting out messages to everyone about an event or event-related activities? So that's not actually an enhancement that we have currently, but it is at the top of our developers list for the next enhancements for the mobile app. They may even be working on that now. Don't quote me on that, but I do know that it is a very high priority for our developers for the mobile app. And there were questions about the menu on the bottom of the screen. So that menu, which includes your mobile profile, direct messaging, notifications. So that's not a menu that you can change. But as Devin showed towards the end, the mobile app menu is a menu that you as an admin can configure. So you'd be able to edit all of the options that you want members to have that quick access to. And there were some questions about members being logged out previously the mobile app. So we have improved our sign in and remember me functions. So your members should definitely have a better experience when they're navigating the app, that their password and username are being remembered properly and they're being signed in and they stay signed in. One thing, Devin, if you could show us how members might access chat and meets on the desktop site, I think that could use a couple of minutes of airtime. So
Sure.
in addition to, or I'll let Devin take over on this one.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, let me go find, I think that's under, is Meets accessible on the desktop side? I thought it wasn't.
It is. So you can add them to the menu, and then they're also in the club tab if you switch to view mode. or maybe it's the communications or website tab. It's one of those, and it behaves this.
There it
There it
is.
is. So just like direct messaging, it only has a front end. So they're only going to have you're only going to have those links when you switch to view mode in the control panel.
Yeah. So this is the Meets module. It's going to work the same way it does in the app. You can turn on the eyeball. Oh, it's going to let me. I have to turn on GPS. I accidentally blocked GPS, so it might not let me go back in. Yep. That's my fault. If you choose to not allow your browser to access GPS, it's not going to let you use that function. So that's my bad. But it will look exactly the same way it does on your mobile app. When you access it, it's going to open up the Meets function where you can set and you can allow it to view your location. You can set a time frame and a radius for how people can see you. And then when you click in that little eyeball in the upper right-hand corner, it is going to allow you to look at the map to see both yourself and other members within your radius or within their radius who are around you, so that you can then tap on them, see who they are, and shoot them a message and say, hey, do you want to go meet up at the soda fountain and, chat about fly fishing or something like that. It just lets you kind of see each other. Same with the chat function over here. This is where you can go in and chat with your group. This is that chat function that we weren't seeing function on the mobile app. So this is where we can go in and talk to other users. And so we can see Jenny and Martin and Harold are all just discussing things about the fly-in channel. And this is just the chat that relates to that mobile channel. And again, mobile channels are only a function if you have the mobile app, but they do still function on the desktop side once you are using it. And so we can say, let me check out the all members chat. And this is a chat where all of our members are talking to each other. You can't, one question we get occasionally is, can we have multiple chats within one channel? No, at the moment. It's just an option. Once you select all members, it's just the chat for all members, but you can create multiple channels. You can say, all members primary chat, all members secondary chat. You can create as many channels as you want. Right now, we just have 4 set up for Martin, but you could have 50 if you wanted. It is a matter of, how busy you want your chat list to be. So if you have a ton of channels, it might be a little bit cumbersome, but you can have as many as you want, and you can flip between them and see, who's talking about what. Most of these are pretty slow. It's just Martin because that's who we use for testing. But here we can see people are talking, and there's Martin sharing a picture of his cute cat and things like that. People sharing lists. So that's just the mobile chat feature, or the channel chat feature.
All right, thank you. There were a couple of questions about reported direct messages. So to reiterate, the direct messages that members might be sending between each other or between themselves and a handful of people if they have a group message, those messages are private, and so they're not visible to an administrator. So what you're looking at now, an admin course can see the live chat. Those are group chats that are configured as channels, but that direct messaging, if the admin, for example, navigated to the member profile of another member, they wouldn't be able to access their direct messages. So that being said, reporting a message does not send the direct message to your website administrator. So it reports the message and it moves it into your reported messages. You can access that at any time. And then you'd be able to send a screenshot of that message to your administrator. But right now, those reported direct messages don't get sent to an admin. Reported live chat messages do get sent to administrators, and we will be talking about how admins can manage those next week. And going through and seeing what other questions we have.
And as a note, just a clarification on the chat function. If you choose to report and hide a message in the group chat, so again, this is the chat, not the direct messaging. This is our channel chat. If you report it, it will hide it, but it will only hide it for you. It doesn't hide it for everyone else, but this one does send a notification because this is a public chat and anyone can be a part of that channel and see it. This does get reported to administrators. there is a place on the for administrators to get notifications about reported messages. But again, this will just hide it for you, not for everyone else.
And is there any way to see what the download rate for the mobile app for members is? It would be useful to know who is actually using the mobile app. There might be a report of mobile app downloads. I definitely feel like I'm remembering that there is a report. Maybe it's in the website tab. We'll take a peek at that, and since that's an admin function, we will include that in next week's webinar if we can't find that report now. But we'll definitely take a look at ways to track people who are downloading your app. And
yeah, I don't see that report. I do know that because it's technically being downloaded from the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store, those metrics would have to come from Google and Apple. So I don't think those will automatically tie into your club website, but we'll have to double check with our developers and see what that reporting looks like. I know there's a few, when it comes to billing for the mobile app, there's a few different options. You can either choose to have the app be free for your members, but in that case, you would pay a download fee. So anytime someone downloads an app, the owners of the app pay a small fee to Google or Apple for the download. And you can either choose to have your club pay that download fee, or you can have the app have a small fee tied to it. I think the standard is $1.99. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but we'll have more of that admin info during next week's session. But obviously, if you do choose to cover or have the fee be covered by the member, there would be kind of financial reporting tied to that as well. And so we'll cover both the financial reporting and the download reporting, what the options are available for that are during next week's admin session.
And a lot of people asked about ways to kind of test out the app if they don't currently have it with their own organization. So you can certainly download the Northwest Balloon Club demo app. And I've included the instructions for that in a couple of chat replies, but we'll also include some instructions in the description of the YouTube video. So be sure to check back at our channel, look through that description. We'll get a couple of links in there to kind of help you out. But really, you'll just navigate to your Apple App Store or Google Play Store. You'll search for ClubExpress Demo Club. You can download the Balloon app, and you can sign into that Balloon app as Martin Smith. We have instructions on clubexpress.com as to how you would play around with our demo site, and you'd be able to navigate the mobile app really as anybody. Now, keep in mind that when you're in the mobile app, 99% of the features and the functions are going to function the same way for you as an admin as they would for any regular member. Most of the admin specific sides of that are going to be on the desktop website. So we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more. But again, check out the check out the recording of this video on our YouTube channel, and we'll have some instructions in the description on how you can download the demo app and test it out for yourself.
All right, we're a little bit over the hour. I think we can probably start wrapping it there. Do we have any pressing questions?
We don't. There are a lot of questions, again, that talk about admin functions, so we'll discuss those next week.
All righty. Well, thank you everyone for joining. We'll have the recording, and I know there's a lot of content about the mobile app. We tried to fit in, we quickly realized that this was going to take more than just one hour webinar session to cover. So that's why we're doing two. So we'll see you here next week for the rest of the story. All right, everyone. Thank you so much.